Hello, everyone who has already joined the event. I think we have 30-ish seconds until we'll get started, so hang in there. Feel free to ask questions if you have any already in the Q&A, and we are super excited to get started soon. Thank you so much. Alrighty, since it is the top of the hour, we will go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for joining our Microsoft Recruiting virtual event for Grace Hopper Celebration 2022. Woohoo! We could not be more excited to be with you and to engage with you before the conference begins next week. So before we get into all of the exciting content that we have to share with you, let's quickly just go over how this Teams Live event will work. So you can utilize the live captions feature within this event by clicking on the CC button at the bottom right of the screen. And then further captioning settings can also be found there. We also encourage you to channel your curiosity throughout the session today and submit your questions into the Q&A chat feature of this Teams Live event. We will be monitoring the Q&A chat and we'll try to answer as many as possible, but we will likely not be able to get to all of them, so just a fair warning. But we really encourage you to ask your questions and are excited to see what you have to say. So moving on from those quick logistics, let's get into the good stuff. Today, you are joined by some of my really amazing colleagues here at Microsoft who are passionate about a couple of intersecting missions. The mission of AnitaB.org, Microsoft, and Women at Microsoft's Employee Resource Group. We stand by these missions to raise the influence of women on all aspects of technology and to increase the positive impact on technology on the world's women, and also to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And lastly, to increase the inclusion, belonging, equity, and representation of women, cisgender women, transgender women, non-binary women, and all who identify as women to any degree. So that said, I am really proud that Microsoft is a sponsor of AnitaB.org's Grace Hopper Celebration 2022, another year of sponsoring GHC. Microsoft is a really proud sponsor. And as a GHC 22 attendee, you will get to hear personal experiences from some inspiring Microsoft employees who can provide you with insight into what it's really like to work at Microsoft and just be a part of Microsoft. You'll also get to hear a little bit about how they got here and learn about how you can potentially join Microsoft too. So I'd like to preface that with, we will be discussing Microsoft career opportunities and the application process in the last 10-ish minutes of this event. So I kindly ask that you save your more recruiting related questions or application related questions until the end of the event today. So now that you've heard me ramble, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Chioma Achalonu, but a lot of people call me Chi. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I'm a university recruiter here at Microsoft based in Seattle, Washington, but I'm actually sitting at our headquarters here in Redmond, Washington. And I am joined here by my colleague, Bree. Bree, if you want to quickly introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brianne Thompson, but as Chi alluded to, I do go by Bree. I am a senior talent sourcer in our industry recruiting space. So while my title is a talent sourcer, I actually focus on diversity conferences and events that we support, and I am based here in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Thank you. And Bree and I are really lucky to be here with 8 employees from all across Microsoft. I'll let them each introduce themselves so you can get to know them a little bit better. So I'll send it over to you. Take it away, Alejandra.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alejandra. I use the pronouns she, her, hers. I'm a product manager in the Redmond campus. I've been in Microsoft for over 2.5 years. And I'm really excited to be here and to being able to help you to pursue a career at Microsoft and Grace Hopper as well. Alex,
Hi.
it's your turn.
Hi, I'm Alexis Costellas. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a software engineer based in the Redmond office for Azure CXP Customer Experience Platform and work on an internal web tool called Elixir that helps product groups achieve their support goals by providing them with intelligent recommendations and insights to take action. So I'm a front-end, back-end, and infra developer since I'm early in my career. I moved from Boston to Seattle last year in August 2021 to join Microsoft after completing an internship here the previous summer and then graduating from Washington University in St. Louis earlier in 2021. And then a fun fact is I got my interview for Microsoft, my internship at GHC in 2019 when I was attending as a Grace Hopper and NeedABe.org scholar. So really excited to be here a few years later representing Microsoft.
Hey everybody, my name is Apurva. Really excited to be here. I go by the pronouns she, her, hers. I am a hardware engineer. I work out of Dallas, Texas. I work for the data center team within Microsoft, and I do some exciting electrical engineering work here at Microsoft. I'm happy to represent my team and Microsoft here on this panel. Fun fact, similar to Alexis, I did get a call to be recruited at Microsoft through Grace Hopper a couple of years ago. Back in 2020 is when I joined. So I'm really happy to be here as a part, yet again, of Grace Hopper and to help you guys out with any questions that you might have and share interesting facts about working at Microsoft. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julia Nathan. My pronouns are she, they. I work as a customer engineering manager out of our Azure engineering team. So we engage with customers and also simultaneously try to give suggestions for improvement to make the product better for all of our customers. I am based out of Alexandria, Virginia, and I've been with Microsoft for 5 years. So super excited to participate in the conference. The fun fact for me is that today I had to have a very serious talk with my 12-year-old about how this was a really important meeting and she couldn't just come stand in the frame. So well, hopefully that'll just remain a fun fact and not like a fun event for everyone. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kosi, and I am a software engineer. I work for the Redmond, Washington office, but I am physically located in Boston, Massachusetts. I am in the cloud and artificial intelligence team, and we work a lot with the data centers and model training and basically trying to make data centers be self-sufficient. A fun fact about me is that I joined Microsoft about 2.5 months ago.
Hi, everybody. I'm Carrie Labrie. I go by the pronouns she, her. I am a longtime Microsoft employee, actually 24 years at the company, and I currently manage our global recovery channel. So I am have a business background, so it's really a pleasure to be part of Grace Hopper to get some outside-in perspectives from the technical lens that Grace Hopper has, and looking forward to enjoying the conference and also helping answer any questions about experiences at Microsoft, because it's been a wonderful ride for me so far.
Hi everyone, my name is Mazama Zahid. I go by the pronouns she and her. I'm a principal PM manager in Azure Data. I've been with the company for about 5 years. I also am a co-chair of Women at Microsoft ERG, which is probably the largest ERG on planet, with 30,000 plus women around the world who are represented by this community. A fun fact about me, I have worked and lived in 5 different countries and 3 different continents. I'm really excited to be here to talk to you about Microsoft, my experiences, and how you could be the next hire for Microsoft as well. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Pooja Gomber. and I go by she, her. And I've been in the tech industry for about 28 years. 20 of those years I've been at Microsoft. I started out as a developer, then moved to PM, never looked back. I've always been on the product side with contributions over in Microsoft Teams. Currently, I'm working in Azure with our US government customers. Fun fact about me, I've lived in all 4 corners of the United States. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm so grateful to be here. 4th time at Grace Hoppers.
Amazing. Thank you so much to each of you for being here. I really, really appreciate each of you. And I am really excited to have a conversation with all of you so that the GHC 2022 attendees that are with us today can hear all about your personal experiences as individuals who identify as women in technology at Microsoft. So to start, I would love to hear your perspective. Do you feel that you can be yourself at Microsoft? And what does that mean to you? I will send that question to Julia first.
A pleasure to be first. So I have to say what's really thrilling about Microsoft is this is probably, I am more myself here at Microsoft than I have been at many of my previous companies. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that we have a lot of resources and we have a lot of communities and opportunities for us to connect with each other that are based on more than just what our technical skill set area is. But the other part is actually part of it is due to the pandemic. I think we all noticed that during the pandemic, a lot of our workspaces kind of collapsed into our home spaces and it merged our family lives. And I think we all had to kind of recognize how important it was to respect and be inclusive of everyone's environments because they were playing out right in front of us. So I know more about all of my peers and coworkers than I ever have before, and they know more about me now. And in a weird way, this is actually what encouraged me to use more of our resources that we had before, because now that I know more about people, I'm more interested in like participating in all of our communities. So I've been joining, again, women at Microsoft, Asians at Microsoft. I've even attended our local LGBTQI plus chapter. It's been really wonderful. So yes.
I love to hear that more than anything. So thank you, Julia. And I'd also love to hear from you, Alejandra. Do you feel that you can be yourself at Microsoft, and what does that mean to you?
Yes, yes. At the beginning, I was afraid to be myself because I come from another culture. I am from Chile. I am a proud Latin woman. So at the beginning, I was afraid of showing myself as I am, but it took me, I don't know, 1 or 2 months, and I noticed that my difference make are showing my difference make everything better. I am more relaxed, and I gave different perspective to everything that I do. And as Julia said, here in Microsoft, we have a lot of opportunities to connect with different kind of people. We have a lot of resources. The ERG, the Employees Resource Group, are amazing. They create activities. I participate in the Women's at Microsoft, the Latinos at Microsoft. And you can develop the technical aspect of your career as well as your life at the same time. So yes.
Amazing. Yeah, that makes me so happy to hear. And I hope that everyone feels that way. I know I do. And I think it would be great to hear from Mazma. Actually, why do you feel Microsoft is a great place to work for you personally?
Yeah, not only that Microsoft is innovation hub, and you always have something exciting to work on. I feel that we are surrounded by great people. I know it's cliche and it's something that a lot of people say, but I really truly mean that, because I feel like I am supported by the right people. I have platforms to raise my voice and ask the right questions. There is a quote that I really like. I wanted to share that here with everyone, which is diversity is having a seat at the table, inclusion is having a voice, and belonging is having that voice to be heard. And I truly believe that we have that sense of belonging here, and really grateful for that opportunities and that kind of opportunities at Microsoft.
Yeah, I really, really love that quote. I might have to like write that on my whiteboard in my office here. And Carrie, I would also love to hear from you. Why do you feel Microsoft is a great place to work for you personally?
Well, I think I want to second what Moazma said. I mean, she's right about the fact there's always something exciting to work on. As I mentioned in the intro, I've been here 24 years. So if that doesn't say something about a great place to work, I don't know what else to say. But actually, there's so many points I could raise here, such as the great culture, the challenging work, the benefits, the ability to make a difference in the work we do. But really, I want to take the path of the flexibility that Microsoft has given me throughout my career. So I just want to share a quick story. I'm 2 years into my career, and my husband and I, we start a family. So we had a baby, I'm on maternity leave, and then the conflict starts. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to leave this amazing little human, but I love my job and I want to continue my career. So I had this light bulb moment. I'm like, what if they'll let me come back part-time? So that wasn't such a thing back then. There wasn't anything formal, but I reach out to my GM, my general manager, and we go to lunch. I'm on leave. And, he didn't blink an eye. He said, you know what, I probably have to take this up to the vice president, but let's try it. Let's try it 4 days a week, 80% full time. So of course I had to take a pay cut, but it's better, it was just such a great balance for me. And 24 years later, I've pretty much kept that schedule and found such a great way to contribute to the company and grow my career, but still find that time to go volunteer in the classroom and do some of those mom things that really were in my heart. So, I guess I just want to summarize. I think Microsoft has demonstrated to me personally, but also I've seen us evolve as a company to further support all kinds of alternative work arrangements to help people still achieve their career goals and contribute to all the great work Microsoft does, and still also feel fulfilled in their personal life. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that story. I mean, that's so special, and I don't blame you for staying here at Microsoft for 24 years after hearing that. And in addition to, some of those like really great things about working at Microsoft, like the flexibility, the belonging, the inclusion, I'd also love to hear what some of like the non-advertised benefits are of working for Microsoft. So I'd love to hear from Alexis.
Yeah, so hearing this question, my mind kind of goes right to more of non-traditional benefits, more of things to do with opportunities I've had for professional and personal growth. So kind of on the learning side, hackathons are at the top of pretty much every Microsoft employee's mind right now. We have our company-wide hack starting next week, and we have multiple smaller ones throughout the year. And this is a great opportunity to work on areas outside of your typical domain. At the hack project that I worked on just a couple months ago on another team, was a cross-team collaboration, is actually going out to production next week. So I'm really excited for that. We also have days of learning, and these are oftentimes quarterly, kind of depending on the different org you're in. And this is a great time to just spend the entire day and learn something new or do a mini hack. My favorite was when I was an intern, we had one around the time of Juneteenth, and we got to really take the day to actually learn and educate ourselves. And there are multiple speakers, so the author of So You Want to Talk About Race was there. It's a great read, and very much recommend that. There's also influential people all over campus. Trevor Noah shows up every once in a while, and other people. And then there are lots of conferences too that are internal, that are like great opportunities. So I'm part of Women in CXP. So they had a conference this year called Level Up, and it was a great opportunity for me to network with people and women outside of my team and also learn a little bit from leadership. Along with that, I'm also part of the Women in CXP mentoring ranks. There's lots of mentoring opportunities on campus. and things like that. And then on the kind of side of leadership, I've really gotten to grow as a leader only being at Microsoft for 13 months. So this summer I was an intern cohort leader. So I co-led a group of 18 interns and got to host events for them, which is very different than my software engineering role, which was great. And it was great to like be a mentor and give career advice to people who I was like in their position just recently, and also got to be an intern mentor to the intern on my team this summer. So that was great. And then lastly, we have makerspaces across the globe called The Garage. So I've been to the one in the Redmond campus a few times, gotten to make a couple t-shirts by like heat pressing my design. There's like puzzles and sorts of things and like power tools, 3D printers, laser cutters, and it's really awesome. So have really been enjoying Microsoft and all that it offers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, that was a laundry list of benefits, and I know that's not even all of it. And I'm so glad to hear that you've been taking advantage of those benefits too. And I know, Carrie, we already heard about why you feel Microsoft is a great place to work for you personally. But that was kind of outside of the benefits. So I'd love to hear, in addition to why you enjoy working at Microsoft, what are those benefits that you like to take advantage of?
Well, first I'll start with just how Alexis, she mentioned the garage. And as I mentioned, I'm not technical, but this resource community of technical people in the garage, like I reached out to them when my son, as he was in high school, trying to figure out how to go a path of video game design. You know, I can reach out to these groups within Microsoft and get wonderful advice. But outside of that, you know, speaking on a more traditional sense, there's these little benefits that maybe aren't as publicly known that I personally love. In fact, my husband and I, we both work at Microsoft. So one of our favorites is Perks Plus, and I don't know how, it's probably on there and people know about it, but they give us $1,500 a year to spend on fitness and well-being. And, you know, every year we like to go ski Crystal Mountain, our favorite ski area in the Seattle area. And Microsoft pays for it. And so we head up skiing and we're always like, thank you, Microsoft, when we go play and know that they've taken care of that great benefit for us. Also, the employee giving program, we've really been able to take advantage of that. You know, Microsoft matches dollar for dollar employee contributions, but they also match time that we volunteer at nonprofit. So if I'm volunteering for the PTSA, there's a nonprofit arm of that, and Microsoft will contribute $25 for every hour I'm giving to the efforts there. And so we're really able to double our impact on our community. And then, you know, other little ones that we enjoy, I mean, little things like we have Microsoft Library. On my phone, I have New York Times subscription, I have Wall Street Journal, all that Microsoft gives me for free as part of my benefits. You know, and I can go get, I don't have to use like other provider cloud software for all of my photos on my phone because I can use Microsoft Cloud and OneDrive, and I get really inexpensive software and Microsoft Store, other hardware. People are always tapping me on the shoulder, hey, can you get me Office? So, you know, there's some great benefits there, and I could keep going, but I'll stop there. So.
I love it. Thank you. I definitely take advantage of some of those benefits as well. I actually love the Microsoft library, the in-person library that's on Redmond campus. It's just such a nice, like, quiet place to get away for maybe like a lunch break or something. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on all of those, Carrie. Thank you. And then I'd love to hear from Kosi. What is different about working for Microsoft as compared to some other places that you might have worked? I know a lot of people who join Microsoft are coming from or having experiences working for different organizations. So it would be great to hear your perspective on this.
I would say the big thing for me is the culture. And Microsoft is really big on like empowering yourself and just learning. That's something that I have found very different from my previous company. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to move to Microsoft. I just always feel challenged, always feel the sense to do more. And there's a lot of more, especially as a software engineer, there's a lot of ownership with your projects, as well as team support. So it's just, the culture for me is amazing, as well as the flexibility that it gives you. Microsoft has been really big on hybrid and just letting employees pick what works best for them. So, for example, if you feel come in Coming to work in person is what makes you the most productive, is what fits your schedule and your life, then you can do that. If you feel you prefer a balance of hybrid and in person, then you can do that. Or if you feel that being remote is what you need right now at this moment, that option is also available to you. So it gives the employees the flexibility to do what's best for them. Aside from that, like Alexis has said in her previous questions to what are the non-advertised benefits, Microsoft offers a lot of different benefits. For example, we have this thing called Perks Plus, which is something I have never seen in any company I've worked for, but they basically encourage you to put your mental, physical, financial, and emotional well-being first. Like for example, if you wanted to go to a gym membership, if you wanted to what's it called, purchase something that would kind of help you with your fitness, maybe a smartwatch, whatever, Microsoft does encourage that, and they actually would help you with reimbursement for these things. So the main things for me are the culture, the ability to do more and learn more, and the perks and the benefits.
Awesome. Thank you, Kosi. And I just love hearing about all these things, because now I'm like, I need to take advantage of more of the benefits. And I know that the audience today is probably calling in from all over, as you might know, like this is a global call, but a lot of us are sitting in the Americas geo. So there might be benefits that, I mean, we definitely haven't listed all of the benefits, and we definitely probably haven't covered benefits that might be applicable in other areas of the world. So the list is endless, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And thank you all for sharing kind of why you like working at Microsoft and all of these benefits that you're taking advantage of being a Microsoft employee. And so I would like to hear also, I know that software engineering is kind of the most high in demand, popular role that you hear about when you think about Microsoft career opportunities. But as we know, Microsoft is a global, massive company that has a ton of different roles outside of software engineering. And so I think it'd be great to share with the group today, what do other roles at Microsoft outside of software engineering look like? So I'd love to hear from Apurva on this first.
Thank you. I'm personally really excited to answer this question only because, like I mentioned earlier, I was reached out through Grace Hopper for a role within Microsoft, which was for a hardware engineer. And I was really surprised that a company like Microsoft has these roles, has these orgs and domains within them that, employ electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, and the likes of other professions other than software engineering, because sometimes it's not advertised as much. So ever since I've been at Microsoft, I've taken it upon myself to, represent my team and talk about the different areas available within Microsoft that are, apart from software engineering. So here at Microsoft, within the data center org that we have, I work as a hardware engineer. My team is responsible for all of the hardware that gets installed at data centers, the programming of such hardware, the commissioning of such hardware. So we're a team of electrical engineers, we're a team of mechanical engineers with expertise such as networking engineering, communication engineering, controls engineering. And so I just want to let all of the attendees know that there's a lot of scope within Microsoft for all sorts of roles and responsibilities, and the teams are fantastic here, and I've had a great time working within the hardware engineering space of Microsoft. So that's what I'd like to share, and I'm happy to take questions later on, specific to my role. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Apurva. I appreciate it. And Carrie, I know you mentioned earlier in your introduction that you come from a business background, so I think it'd be great to hear your perspective on this as well. What do other roles outside of software engineering at Microsoft look like?
Yeah, love to share that. So, I mean, the size and scope of Microsoft, there's so much room to grow and develop in this company outside of one single discipline. Like, I often advise, early in career employees when they're trying to figure out what they want to do, to not limit themselves to what they know or what they've done, because you can actually have several different careers within Microsoft if you choose to do so and are willing to invest the time to learn. So for example, with my business background, I started out here in program management, and I really actually enjoy that and have spent a lot of my career in that space. Program management at Microsoft, it gives me the chance to really understand what those business requirements are and translate them for the technical teams, manage budget, schedule, resources, risks, and really help guide the teams to deliver what we set out to deliver. So great opportunity to interact with all levels of technical expertise, from developers and testers to finance, etc. During my career, though, I've also had great experiences and opportunities in finance, business management, supply chain, vendor account management. That's kind of where I work now, as I manage vendors within our supply chain organization. But in this role, I get to work with legal, I work with contracts, I work some with our technical engineering team on things related to our product specifications, where I get to manage business performance. I have some initiatives around sustainability and more. So, I guess Microsoft really supports employee growth and development, and there's so many opportunities outside of maybe that discipline you're in now. If you really want to go put your neck out there, you let your managers know what you want. We spend a lot of time investing in a career development and growth so that you can build that roadmap to go learn and develop new skills.
Amazing. Thank you, Carrie. It's so great to hear just about the wealth of opportunities here. And as someone without an engineering or a technical background myself, I think I can speak to it as well, that there's opportunities for everyone here at Microsoft, even if you're not a software engineer per se. And I think that answer, Carrie, actually ties us really well into my next question, which is how easy or difficult is it to move around within the company from one organization to another? And I will send that over to Pooja first.
Thank you, Chi. I would say that it is moderately easy to move around within the company. So for me personally, I've always reinvented myself every couple of years, wanting to learn something new that I haven't done before. And I feel completely supported at Microsoft to be able to do that. Most recently, I moved from being in the collaboration space, so working on Skype for Business, Microsoft Teams, over into Azure, because I was always curious about Azure and wanted to learn the new space. And so it's been about 3 years, and I will say that I was able to transition. I've been able to contribute and also be successful. I was promoted from senior PM to principal PM as a result of the impact I was able to have on my current team. And that actually was a result of experiences that I gained over in my previous role and team. So a tip that I will share is, invest in and grow the relationships in the org that you want to be in, and the experiences and skill set that you want to develop. Aside from that, there is an official process that you have to follow. We have an internal career site, and you can look at what roles are open, etc. And then the one thing that I will share about that is don't screen yourself out, screen in to those roles, because the job descriptions can be sometimes ambiguous. And so you can find the details, really know what the role is about by talking to people, the hiring manager and people who will be your peers on the team, to learn about the organization, the culture, the team, what the responsibilities look like, etc. And people are always, happy to talk to you. So.
Those are really great tips. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, I mean, I think it's always great to remember that skills are transferable and to always just continue to try and develop yourself professionally. Microsoft provides a lot of opportunities to do that so that those skills can transfer into different roles and different orgs. And of course, networking, like you said, I think that's really important when it comes to thinking about what your next move is going to be, making sure you're networking and learning from other people across Microsoft. And I will actually ask this question as well to Julia. How easy or difficult have you found it to move around within the company?
I have to agree. It's moderately difficult, but the reason it's difficult, I find, is it's not due to a lack of support, right? I have been here 5 years. I've been in 3 different organizations. It's definitely possible. It's definitely achievable. But and the parts that we are so great about supporting each other on, there was a time when, like, to Carrie's comment, I thought I wanted to be a PM too. And my manager was so supportive because it's, as management, it's part of your job to care about the development and the growth of your people. And he actually found like a variety of PM, like product managers, project managers, program managers. And I spent like 6 months talking to each, like people in each of these roles. And my manager actually made contacts for me to talk to. As part of this process we have called informationals. Like, it's actually okay just to reach out to people and ask them about their jobs, just to learn about what they do. We have a process for that. After a while, I was just learning, and I think this comment was made, right? You kind of have to learn about what the job is sometimes to know if it's the one you really want. So, so for example, like I started out as a technical evangelist for Azure, and then I thought I wanted to be a cloud solution architect. And it's really about, again, all those good points, right? The networking, the preparation. I was able to make that jump, but it turns out I didn't understand the job as much as I could have. And so part of that learning every time, right, is understanding what is working and what's not working. After that, I actually switched to Federal's, our Microsoft Federal organization, where I was a manager in our security customer success unit. And that was a really interesting experience because I know sometimes people ask, like, security is such a hot area right now, right? We have a lot of activity in, and it's interesting because we don't have a lot of women in the area. Classically, security seems to have been like this, you know, hold of like older men who were the only ones in IT interested in it. But what's been wonderful is, especially with this uptick in the newer forms of security, right, like operational security, threat hunting, right, endpoint security, all of those things, is that we love welcoming in the people who are new, and that can be anybody. It's any diverse group. And in Microsoft, we care so much about learning. We collaborate heavily. We learn from each other heavily. So it hasn't, I have not noticed any issues, which is wild, right? Because I've been in other parts of the company where you're like, you have to try a little harder to prove yourself. It really doesn't work that way in my experience at all in Microsoft. We are really wanting to know about other people, and if you can contribute your newer experience, that's always a benefit. So yeah, and then after Federal, I moved to Azure Engineering. And so I think the bottom line, to sum up a very long answer, the only thing that really makes it difficult about moving internally is because I think we are supportive of it. So when positions open up, a lot of people apply for them. So a lot of times it's not, you know, it's not about just finding that role. It's about showing the people that you're uniquely suited, that you are bringing something to that position. And I find that's probably the most important thing that's helped me change jobs. Celebrate yourselves. Okay, that's all I got.
I really love the answer, Julia. Thank you so much. And thank you for keeping it real and, yeah, sharing your own personal experience. I think that's the best way that we can learn how it really is here at Microsoft. So thank you. And I wanted to ask a question to Mosma. What are, I guess, some of the activities outside of the classic, you know, your 9 to 5 that are also supported by Microsoft?
Thank you for that question. I think, as I said in the intro as well, I do a lot of volunteer and community work. For example, I lead the Seattle community for Native York, which is doing the Grace Hopper conference. I've also led a nonprofit in the last 2 years as a president of that nonprofit. And not just that was well supported by my manager at work, but he also encouraged me to actually bring those learnings into my team and share that, like how others in my team can can be more involved in those nonprofit and other nonprofits that they want to work for or they want to volunteer for. I know we talked a lot about the benefits that you can get to match the time and donate money, but there is a lot of leadership skills that you get working on those nonprofit work or any of those things that you might not get as your 9-to-5 job. I also want to mention one thing, which is a lot of people talk about work-life integration, work-life balance. I believe this is all life. So as part of the life, I'm a mother of 3 girls, including twins. There was time in 2 years ago when pandemic hit, I was without childcare. So Microsoft actually provides a lot of flexibility. That's the key here, flexibility as a mother to be myself at work, to be okay, to kind of take care of my kids when I have to. And in addition to that, they have discounted childcare, backup care for children, other elderlies, and elderly if you're taking care of your parents or something like that. So there are a lot of benefits like that. So those are like outside of my 9-to-5 job, but they're part of my life and that make me me, and I can bring my whole self to work by knowing that I have that support from my work outside of my family and friends as well. So I really feel that I have that right support and I can get a lot of that through my team and the people that I get to work with at Microsoft.
Thank you so much. I feel like the overwhelming theme from basically everyone today has been support, and I really, really love that. So thank you. And the same question to you, Apurva, what are some of the activities outside of your 9-to-5 that are supported by Microsoft?
Yes. So, based on the amazing answers that we have here on the panel today, I'd like to add another activity that Microsoft supports wholeheartedly is pursuing like a degree while you're working. So I am currently pursuing a master's degree in business administration along with my full-time job, and the application process, provided by Microsoft to kind of get that reimbursement is really easy here within the company. They provide $10,000 towards graduate studies and around $5,000 towards undergraduate studies. And as the general theme goes, the teams here at Microsoft are super supportive if you would like to, add that degree to your name while you're working and basically develop more leadership skills or develop more technical knowledge to do better in what you're currently doing, or, explore opportunities within Microsoft just because of the massive scale of the jobs and openings and opportunities we have here within the company. So this is another activity that is, supported by Microsoft that I wanted to mention here about the funding that they make available to study while you work. And I'm taking advantage of it, and it's been great so far. Thank you.
That is both amazing and impressive. I applaud anyone who is taking advantage of Microsoft support to go to school while they also work. So amazing, and hats off to you. So next question is going to be for Alexis. I'd love to hear, just with the hybrid workplace as the new norm, coming out of the pandemic, I guess we can say, but still being in the pandemic, how is Microsoft responding to options of support, theme of support, and or benefits as it relates to navigating the COVID-related obstacles in our work-life balance?
Yeah, so for some context, I work 3 to 4 days in the office per week and then the rest at home, and I kind of joined mid-pandemic about 13 months ago. So while we were kind of transitioning a little more formally, I know that all managers were instructed to really sit down with their teams and to really understand their concerns, issues, and kind of come up with some agreements and expectations, which I think made it a really safe and comfortable transition for everyone that I've spoken to, at least. Also, the entire workplace and integration with teams is like completely set up, so it's very conducive to a hybrid environment. So you'll have people online, people in the conference room, pretty much all meetings that I'm involved in, and it's really worked out great for me on both sides. Also, most large events are also offering virtual and in-person kind of options, or you can kind of do like a hybrid combination. So for example, I mentioned that I was part of the Women in CXP Level Up conference earlier this year, and that was completely virtual. But what they did offer was an in-person watch party. And so I got to meet some people in person, network a little bit, which was important to me as like a new hire. And we just kind of sat on a couch and watched together and ate food, which was really amazing. And they did something really similar for the interns this year. So you could opt out of being an in-person intern and you could be virtual, but they were still given the same budget to participate in all the different events. They had like chocolate tastings, game nights, and everything that they were doing in person as well. And then more on like the work-life balance part, Microsoft really strives for like having a great work-life balance, like prides itself in that, and is one of the reasons I ultimately decided to work here because, and I found it to be very true. But it's still something that can be really challenging, and I've found it challenging as well because, like, I mean, I really love my job, and sometimes it's easy, right? You have your computer at home, it's all set up. But one thing that I've really found helpful is taking advantage of Microsoft's like care for our wellness. And so people have mentioned already Perks Plus, which is like our budget to get out and do something active or something that like makes us happy and like healthy. So I've used it to like get new hiking gear to go out and go on some hikes. The Pacific Northwest has been great to me. Get like new tennis racket and things like that. And then more on like a team's perspective, people are more like people give more working hours. So you'll see in a lot of signatures, like you don't need to respond. These are my working hours. And so there's a lot of expectations set that you only have to work during your working hours. So I think Microsoft has responded really well to the new kind of hybrid world that we live in. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Alexis. And yeah, I love the emphasis on that work-life balance. I feel like I am personally a work to live type person. So I definitely agree. And I feel like that's very supported here at Microsoft. Okay, so I wanted to ask Kosi the same question. How has it been for you as someone who joined fully remote?
So yeah, so I agree with everything Alexis has said, the Perks Plus and everything, but I guess I offer a much more different experience as I joined like fully remote. I joined when Microsoft had already pretty much transitioned into a hybrid workplace. So my onboarding process was very much done virtually. And I actually work full-time remote. Sometimes I go to Washington, but majority of my time are spent working virtually. Microsoft has definitely provided a lot of support to encourage and just be there for those who are working remotely. And this I kind of noticed even right from the interview process while talking to my interviewers all the way through the onboarding process. Another thing that I have really valued from Microsoft is how they've handled the COVID related aspect. One thing that I noticed was that, so when I first came into the office, I had scanned my badge and I received an email telling me I had to upload my vaccination card or I would lose access to the building. And that was very impressive for me because for me, it's a way to kind of make sure that an environment that's safe for everyone is being provided. So obviously I went home and I uploaded my vaccination card, or you could, give a reason why that you're exempt from that. But just seeing that happen just made me feel a lot more comfortable that, okay, they're doing something to ensure safety and something to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and okay. Another thing that I do love is that there's as well as there's an in-person component for all our meetings, events, all hands, all of that. There's also a virtual component for it. So you have the option, like Alexis said, to go into the conference rooms and be there in person, see it in person, or you can join virtually from your computer. Aside from that, Microsoft does give you the option to, if you do decide to be in person, depending on how much you want to come, the percentage of time you want to come in the office, you can actually get a workspace. And even if you don't want a workspace, they have like mini team rooms that you can work in, and kind of giving you that work-life balance. Okay, I want to come to work so amount of days, so I can create a team room for myself where I can go in and work as need be. Yeah, so they've been very supportive throughout the COVID-19 process, and just a big thing has also been transparency as well. They keep us up to date with what's going on within the company-wide, so you know what stages we're in, what's the okay here, what's the not okay here. So there's a huge transparency between, the company and leadership, which is very valuable. kind of to know what's going on around across the borders.
Amazing. Thank you, Kosi. And I agree with you. And I know a lot of people in the Q&A and the people who are here at this event are very interested in hearing more about Microsoft career opportunities. So I'm going to shift the next question to, as a hiring manager and interviewer, what do you typically look for in a candidate that might indicate indicate a good fit for the organization here at Microsoft? So I'm going to ask that to Mwazma.
Sure. Thank you for that question. So to me, I think it's about the potential. A lot of times when I'm looking at when I'm hiring for teams or hiring in my team or at the university recruiting piece of it, I actually look at what is the potential. We say at Microsoft, it is not about the know-it-all culture, but to learn-it-all culture. We talked about it previously with so many examples there where folks had different experiences. They talked about how Microsoft has this culture of bringing your whole self to work. When I'm interviewing, I'm preferably like looking at what is the potential, not at what you've done in terms of skills, because I always believe that skills can be learned at job. What you bring as yourself is very important. And then also look at what makes you you. So talk about the volunteer opportunities, talk about the things that make you unique, that make you think and excited and come to work at Microsoft. So that's my perspective.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I'd love to hear from Pooja for the next question. What's one thing that you wish you knew before you started working for Microsoft?
Good question, Chi. So this may sound a bit naive, but I wish I knew that Microsoft expects you to be in the driver's seat of your own career. So Microsoft is a large company. Don't let that intimidate you because there is help available every step of the way to navigate the company culture, expectations of your role, career growth, whatever you want to do, sharing your work that you're proud of with others, and anything in between. You just have to ask. That's the part you have to do. So I'll leave you all with a small tip here. If and when you join Microsoft, there's a Technical Women at Microsoft group and forum. It is made up of women from diverse experiences across the company, as well as some of the strongest male allies. It's an incredibly supportive community with mentorship and advice and people cheering for you all the time and, really invested in your success at the company. So please join that when you do join Microsoft.
That's really great advice. Thank you so much, Pooja. I appreciate it. And our last question for the panel today is, what was it like when you applied and interviewed for Microsoft? Alejandra, I'm going to send this one to you.
Okay, thank you. The first that you need to know is that there are different ways that you can start working at Microsoft. One is the internship, the recruiting event, the website application, and there's another one called the apprenticeship. I participate in one of those programs called LEAP, Let's Jumping. The LEAP program is focused in people with three different categories. One is the people that has a gap in their career. For example, someone that took time off to be a mom or something like that, or for a specific leave. People coming from unconventional background. So people that, for example, they could be, I don't know, a gardener that learned how to code and is applying for a software developer position. And the other one is, that is a new one, is the people coming from universities where Microsoft doesn't go to make their recruitment. So In my case, I went for the first path because I moved to the state 4 years before that I applied, and I didn't have any working experience here in the US, but I had a working experience in my country. So that process was an application where you need to write an essay, put your resume. Then I went to an in-person interview. I was interviewed for different people in different roles. And after that, I was offered the position in the apprenticeship. After 4 months in the apprenticeship, my team, when I was working, made me the offer for my current position. So difference, the interview process depend of the role, depend of the where are you applying, but most of the time include a review offline of your background and call with the recruiter, and after that an in-person interview to complete the view. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. And thank you so much for, just sharing more about your, unique application and interview process that led you to Microsoft. And I think that's a really great segue to share all about the many career opportunities here at Microsoft and our application process that I know many people want to learn more about. We understand the reason many of you are here today is because you're interested in Microsoft career opportunities, which we sincerely appreciate your interest, and we want to provide as much knowledge as we can about how you can potentially join Microsoft as well. So as you can see on the screen, we do have a link to our Grace Hopper Careers website. So feel free to navigate to that, aka.ms/GraceHopperCareers 2022. And because our process differs for students and recent graduates versus industry professionals, we're going to segment this out to make sure it's really clear for each audience. So for anyone who is a current student or anyone who has graduated within the last 12 months, you'll want to learn about our university recruiting process for students and recent graduates. So in order to be considered, you'll need to start with an application, just like any role at Microsoft. All of our full-time and internship roles are on our careers site at microsoft.com/university, or you can head to that Grace Hopper Careers 2022 link below. And we have roles across many different disciplines. And as you heard from our panelists earlier, there's other roles outside of software engineering. We have roles for different disciplines, different degree types, whether you're in bachelor's, master's, PhD, whatever it might be. So please apply to the role that you are the best fit for. We have opportunities for students and recent grads, both technical and non-technical, spanning across software engineering, product management, technical program management, UX, data science, hardware. The list goes on. So I'm really excited to see everyone have an opportunity for them that looks great for them on our career site. And while we do have opportunities across that wide variety of engineering and non-engineering disciplines, I did drop links to our software engineering roles because I know those are the highest in demand. So I wanted to include those links directly on the screen. So you can feel free to navigate to those as well if you're interested in software engineering roles. In addition to applying, though, I encourage you to also upload your most recent resume to the Grace Hopper Celebration Resume Database and make sure that you have Grace Hopper 2022 listed on your resume and your LinkedIn. Many recruiters search for qualified Grace Hopper candidates via the resume database and via LinkedIn. So if you for some reason didn't have this on your resume and you want to, and you already submitted your application to a job, you can update your resume at any time, add whatever you need, any new experiences to make sure that the recruiter is viewing your most recently updated resume. So you can update that at any time on the Microsoft Career site in your Action Center. And then as far as after applying, your Action Center, as I just mentioned, on the career site is where you're going to have your real-time updates to your application. We're going to actively review all applications and we'll reach out directly if we're interested in an interview. And due to a large volume of applications, please allow a few weeks to hear a status update at the very peak of the recruiting season, which is basically right now. It can take up to 90 days, but we definitely try to be quicker than that. As far as the interview process goes, we will not be conducting interviews at the Grace Hopper Conference. That being said, though, we are actively recruiting and finding candidates and looking through our applicants, so please do apply. And if you are selected for an interview, you'll enter our standard university recruiting interview process, which is a first round screen followed by a final round interview loop if you do perform well. And you can find an abundance of interview prep materials on our career site. So that being said, that's our university recruiting process. I'm going to pass it over to Bree to talk a little bit more about the industry recruiting process for industry professionals.
Thanks, Chi. So for industry, our application process is a bit different. So we are also not going to be in person at the conference. However, when it comes to your applications, you can leverage the link at the bottom of this page that will take you to our industry roles that we have opened. Once you apply for that role, we do have sourcers who are actively going through both the Grace Hopper resume book along with the requisitions directly in order to find candidates who are aligned to Grace Hopper and a great fit for each of the roles. So we do have a pretty tight timeline on the industry side. This week, our sourcers will be wrapping up with finding qualified candidates. Next week, we will be having our hiring manager screens, i.e. first round interviews, and then our final round interviews will be taking place the last week of September. So if you are interested or have people who do have at least 2 years of experience outside of internships, please do guide them to our site in order to go ahead and get those applications in ASAP.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Bree, for the insight. And that is a wrap. I want to thank all of our panelists for sharing a really beneficial inside look into their personal experience and for being involved in Grace Hopper this year. Thank you so much. I really appreciate each of you panelists. And then thank you to everyone for joining our session today. We hope you found it really informative and beneficial as you continue in your journeys, whether you're at school or just in your careers. So if you are traveling to the in-person conference, safe travels. I hope everyone has a great time engaging in all of the GHC events. And last but not least, make sure to check out aka.ms/Grace Hopper Careers 2022. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you.